bells have to do with Jesus being born and coming to a cross and being resurrected? Nothing. I mean, I'm just tired of it. They can't. Of course, if they write something new, it's going to have cuss words in the Christmas songs. If some guy rapper raps something, I guess, you know. Now, here's the thing. The Mass, like I said, 60 million people died because they would not partake of the festival of the Mass. I'm just trying to throw you a whole bunch of things from every direction. I've got all kinds of documentation on these things, and I don't even know how to get it all out. I'm up here grabbing at stuff while I'm up here. I'm telling you things that I started in another direction this morning, and I just come up and pick up things, and I'm throwing it at you. We've got so much information on this. I've got stacks and tons of it. The big key is it was the Baal and Grove worship of the Old Testament. God destroyed Israel and scattered them all over the face of the earth. He scattered them for 2,600 years over the earth, brought them back May 14, 1948, and declared them a nation again for the first time in 2,600 years, all because for 500 years they went after this system. And then Constantine brings it into the church in 325 AD because he thinks he's going to lose the empire to all these barbarians rampaging across Europe. It's all the same thing. Now, one of the real bad things about the Mass, they call the Mass. The Mass is being held in Roman Catholic churches. How many Mass do they have in your Catholic church, Gerald, how many per day? 3 or 4 a day? And how many did yours have?
We had one every morning before school, and then of course on Sunday at 3.
And you were a real faithful partaker of the Mass, weren't you? What did that taste like? They didn't taste like flesh, did it? Taste like a dry cracker? We got a lot of ex-Catholics here. Roman Catholics. A real bad biscuit. Real bad biscuit. Here's the point I'm getting at. Every Roman Catholic church has 3 or 4 Masses a day. Each time they have a Mass, they say that Jesus is the victim. That he is dying every day this many times per day. And that he is the sacrifice, being sacrificed. And when you walk down the aisle, now this is the way they used to do, but they don't do it this way anymore because of germs, I guess, or something. But they kneel down and they stick their tongue out and they accept the Eucharist. Did you ever do that? So you stick your tongue out and you accept the Eucharist. That's where the accept Christ doctrine came from. It came out of Roman Catholicism. And then the Church of England came out of the Catholic Church, and when Henry VIII came out of the Catholic Church, he kept that in one of their rituals, walking the aisle to accept the Eucharist. It's in the Episcopal Church. They still do that. The Baptists call it, well, this is a picture of the death of Christ. No, it's not. A daily cross. When you eat flesh and drink blood, a daily cross, that's the picture of the death of Christ, not eating a piece of cracker. Now, when they walk down the aisle, Jesus is said to be the victim every time that happens. So Jesus is being crucified. How many Catholic churches in the world? 1 million? Probably at least 1 million. So Jesus is dying 4 million times a day. 3 to 4 million times a day. Now, if he's dying 4 million times a day, I thought he was one sacrifice. Let's go over to the 10th chapter of Hebrews. Now, the Roman Catholic Bible comes out of the same text as the King James Bible. It comes out of the Textus Receptus. And in their Bible, you're going to have this right here. It's going to tell you this. And what they do with this is beyond me. Hebrews, the 10th chapter. Starting in verse 1. How much time do I have?
30.
All right, starting in verse 1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come and not the very image. In the Old Testament, the law was the shadow. Let me erase this up here. And I keep putting this on the board this birthday of the unconquerable Son, that 7-day festival, Saturnalia, that Constantine brought in the church, because that is what Israel was involved in, and that is all the evil of the Old Testament. That's all the evil. The reason there is a New Testament, and the reason God has poured out of His Spirit on all flesh, or to the Gentiles, the red, yellow, white, black, and brown flesh, is because all the Old Testament, Israel kept going after these sun and tree goddesses, and every evil of the Old Testament, every bit of it, was the same thing that was brought into the church and renamed Christmas. All the evil. There's no evil that doesn't start at Babylon. None. The Bible itself in Revelation 17:5 says Babylon mothered it all. So if Babylon mothered it all, and it crept into Israel, and Constantine brought it in the church, and God destroyed Israel in His rage and fury, He said, I'll accomplish my fury on Jerusalem. I will accomplish my indignation against her. And God carried northern Israel and southern Judah away into captivity because of this. I'm not going to do it. And like I've said to somebody, Jason Watford called me from Tallahassee, Florida. He said, I've approached my family. He said, what am I going to do? They don't want these truths. I said, you're going to do the same thing I do, stand. My family don't want it either. And I said, everybody at Grace and Truth Ministries, their family doesn't want it either. I said, what we do is we stand for the truth. You stand, you can't tell them, say, look. You got a brother-in-law who's a primitive Baptist who just started screaming at him when he told him about Christmas. Primitive Baptists are supposed to believe in predestination. Said he started screaming at me. I said, just tell him, look, you do it if you want to. God says it's wrong. I'm not going to do it. You do what you want to do. You cannot tell people they have to quit doing it. Evil vessels of wrath fitted to destruction are going to keep sinning. You can't tell them they have to quit sinning. And it's not up to you to convict hearts. It's up to the Spirit. It is the Spirit that quickeneth. It's not up to Gerald that quickeneth. It's not Fred that quickeneth, or it's not Willie or Marianne that quickeneth. It is the Spirit that quickeneth. I don't know why we think we have to quicken somebody and get them to turn. I said, well, if you don't want to believe that, you believe what you want. I believe it's the Old Testament, Baal and Grove worship, Hercules worship. You do what you want. And people, and he's going to fight him over Hercules' birthday being December the 25th. You don't fight over the sun god's birthday being December the 25th because he died on the 21st. Isn't that something? Huh? It's crazy. It's like I said, America is so blind and so deaf to everything that's been going on. And it's not the people so much. It's the leaders of this nation that have seduced us and brought us into all of this.
Yes, sir.
And made us believe these things. Whether it's the oppression of the blacks or the oppression of the American Indian, or it's the leaders of the nation and the teachers. You have to check out everything, and the preachers, yes. You got to check it all out. I mean, he brings out in this book on this Indian, he's talking about the European Caucasians believe that they were superior to everybody else. That's why they could come here and steal the American Indians' land. They actually said that in the Manifest Destiny program, and in this doctrine of discovery. Doctrine of discovery is an unbelievable doctrine. It's a doctrine of racism. It just says, wherever we go, whatever nation gets in there first, whatever Caucasian nation gets in there first, whoever sets up a village around the mouth of a river gets to claim everywhere that river runs into. Everywhere that river runs from, if he sets up a village at the mouth of that river, he can claim that for his country everywhere that river runs off into, all of the tributaries.